When you think of summer, what pops into your mind? Is it ice cream, trips to the beach, or is it spending time with your family in the summer heat? But as the summer changes, so does the risk for severe weather.
We do see lots of thunderstorms.
From watches to warnings, we are laying out the different types of severe weather that can impact the Susquehanna Valley, from the tropical outlook and the benefits of rain after a long drought.
That's $1 million rain.
The News 8 Storm Team is preparing you for what lies ahead for the summer season.
Welcome to the News 8 Storm Team Summer Weather Outlook. I'm Chief Meteorologist Christine Ferreira, and we have team coverage across the Susquehanna Valley to keep you and your family safe. The News 8 Storm Team is giving us a look at the prolonged drought, severe weather, new heat alerts, and more. First, we begin with the drought. I'm here in Wrightsville, York County, along the Susquehanna River, where water levels appear normal. But looks can be deceiving, as most of the Susquehanna Valley remains in a moderate to severe drought. We have team coverage on what goes into declaring a drought and the far-reaching impacts of a long-term drought. Let's start with meteorologist Ethan Houston at Lake Redmond in York County.
Thanks, Christine. Drought in its simplest form is just a lack of precipitation over a period of time.
National Weather Service meteorologist Jonathan Guzman says it can vary.
You can either talk about that in terms of short term, so say over the last couple weeks or maybe a month or two, and then there's also long-term droughts, so say maybe even the course of a half a year or years.
National Weather Service Senior Service Hydrologist Craig Evanengo says the drought to start the year is severe and one we haven't seen in quite a while.
Duration-wise and severity-wise, it looks like this is probably the driest stretch there has been in the lower Susquehanna Valley, at least since 2002.
As a hydrologist, Evanengo is looking at more than just precipitation.
We look at stream flows, we look at groundwater, of course, precipitation, looking at reservoir capacity, things like that.
The Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection Drought Task Force looks at a similar combination of indices. The agency decides if certain counties need to be under what they deem as a drought watch, a drought warning, or if they believe the governor should declare a drought emergency. The state's drought coordinator, Jason Minnick, says making these declarations is meant to educate and to ask the public to reduce water usage during a time of scarcity.
Under a drought watch, we're recommending a voluntary reduction of 5 to 10% of their non-essential water use. In a warning, we're talking about 10 to 15% reduction in that water use.
Minnick says this could be achieved by not washing a car as often, maybe running fewer loads of laundry, or taking shorter showers. Minnick says if conditions are severe enough, the agency can recommend the governor declare a drought emergency for a county, which could require some mandatory reductions of water usage. All of these ways to look at water, along with a couple of other indices like soil moisture, is how the weekly Drought Monitor is created. The Drought Monitor is a team effort created by the National Drought Mitigation Center, NOAA, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The map we show on WGAL newscasts ranks drought in 5 categories in terms of severity, from abnormally dry to exceptional. We compare maps from previous weeks or months to showcase how our drought conditions may change over time. Guzman says as we head into the warmer summer months, there are more opportunities for us to see more rainfall, but it may be difficult for us to end our long-term drought.
More chances for daily afternoon showers and thunderstorms. But as a lot of us know, in Pennsylvania and really across the country, those tend to be scattered in nature on a lot of days.
Recent rainfall during the past 2 weeks have decreased our deficit, but it's going to take more rain to get us closer to our average for the year. Ethan Houston, WGAL News 8.
We just learned from Ethan the elements that go into declaring a drought. Our storm team coverage continues with the impact the drought is having here in the Susquehanna Valley. News 8's Ann Shannon went to Fredericksburg, Lebanon County, which is one of the driest areas around.
This records the weather.
Dal Voigt is constantly monitoring the weather.
That's $1 million rain.
Voigt knows how important precipitation is. He not only raises beef cattle on a small farm in Lebanon County, he also works as a crop expert for the Penn State Agriculture Extension. He knows farmers across the Susquehanna Valley are continuing to see the negative impact of the dry fall and winter.
So when we talk about an agricultural drought, we had one since last October. Because if you remember, the small grains went in and it was dry.
You can see the evidence right here in his pasture.
But because of the drought, it's going to be short. First cutting.
Spring rains are helping.
We got 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches, depends where you live. So that's going to give us about a week, and then we need additional rains to keep things moist.
Dell wasn't disappointed when the skies opened up, forcing us inside. He calls this the sound of money, and not just for farmers.
Yeah, it all goes together. And with more moisture, you get better yields, and the cost of production is lower for the farmer. So that would translate into a lower cost at the store.
The timing of the rain is also critical.
A lot of the crop got planted in the last 2 weeks, and so now with this rain, you just watched it grow.
But Dell adds it'll need more rain to keep growing. So if you see a few clouds in the sky, it may mean there will be more gold in everyone's pocket. In Fredericksburg, Lebanon County, Ann Shannon, WGAL News 8.
Thank you, Ann. And looking forward, while agriculture can be severely affected by drought, your wallet can be impacted too. Let's go back to meteorologist Ethan Houston.
Sometimes it's nice to have a visual.
JT Hand, the CEO of the York Water Company, has been keeping a very close eye on our drought across the valley.
Since January of 2023, we have been experiencing a pretty significant deficit in precipitation. Up to now, in the last 27 months, it's 26 inches of deficit.
Hand says the York Water Company has multiple ways to meet the needs of their roughly 80,000 customers during times of low rainfall.
In times of serious drought, we can actually pull from the Susquehanna River, which is what we had to do way back in 2023.
The company built a new dam at Lake Williams, which holds more than 1 billion gallons of water. This is in addition to Lake Redmond, which also holds about 1 billion gallons of water. Both lakes offer fishing, boating, and hiking access to the public. Hand says despite having full reservoirs, he'd like to see more rain.
We don't get tired of the rain at this point. We want a little bit more to keep the ground saturated, to elevate the groundwater tables.
York County is currently under a drought watch established by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. That means the state is asking the county to conserve its water, and Hand says the York Water Company is watching closely.
We're going to continue to manage every drop of rain that falls from the sky until DEP lifts the current drought watches that are in effect.
I'm Ethan Houston, WGAL News 8.
Thanks, Ethan and Ann. And as we've heard, it's been dry. Here's retired meteorologist Joe Calhoun with how this stacks up against all time.
The theory is that climate change will give us more extremes in our weather. Hot, cold, wet, and dry. We've heard how dry it's been so far this year, but of our driest years on record in the top 5, only one came in the last 80 years. That was in 2001. And when you look at our driest summers on record, well, most of those were in the early 1900s. In the top 5, only 1980 and 1966, which was our driest on record with only 2.41 inches of rain that entire summer. From the News 8 Storm Team, I'm meteorologist Joe Calhoun.
Still to come, do you know the difference between an impact day and an alert day? And new heat alerts have been implemented by the National Weather Service. Learn how to recognize the danger. That and much more coming up.